Now I want to talk about dictionaries. Dictionaries are a data type that is commonly known as associative lists in other languages. In Java, it would be called a hash map. So, or in regular data structures, is a hash table. What dictionaries are is they allow us to store, to associate things with a string, for example, with something that's comprehensible. So, for example, with a value. So, for example, let's say I have books. So my first book is War and Peace. It's by Leo Tolstoy. The second book that I have is Blindness by Saramago. And the third book that I have is Don Quixote by Miguel Cervantes de Saavedra. Okay, so these are the books that I have, and I want to create a little database of these books. Okay, the way that we can do this in Python, okay, and we can do a lot of things there. Oops, I'm running out of battery, so this video better be short. The way that this works in Python is that we can create these books, okay, and we can create this little database, and then we can query it in a very natural way. And here's what I mean. We can create a structure called a dictionary, right? I'm going to comment these lines because I don't want them to be part of my program. And I'm going to say, for example, here, I'm going to say my dictionary D is going to be, and then I start with curly braces, start the dictionary. Now, dictionaries are saved in key value pairs. So if I say each book will have a title, okay? So the title is going to be, for example, for the first book, it's going to be War and Peace, comma, the second attribute in my dictionary in this is going to be author, and it's going to be Leo Tolstoy. Okay, then I'm going to have the second book, for example. It's going to be, well, I'm going to create this A. B is going to be, the title is going to be Blindness, comma. The second key here is the author, and it's Saramago. That's the end of all the fields. I could put as many fields here as I want about the book. And then C, for example, it's going to be title is Don Quixote. Whoops, I'm missing a quote. And the author is going to be Miguel de Cervantes, for example. All right. So these are my three dictionaries. And look what I can do with this. I'm going to go to the Python shell and actually paste this code in the Python shell because it's easier to illustrate it there. So I'll create my three dictionaries there. Whoops. I did something wrong here. Whoops, yeah. So this dictionary, this last dictionary, this should be a colon. All right. Copy and put it. There you go. So we have now A is this dictionary, author Leo Tolstoy, title War and Peace. B is that one, and C is that one. The good thing is that I can say, for example, the interesting thing is that I can say, for example, give me the author of C. And I will just do it like this. And it gives me Miguel de Cervantes Saavedra. Okay? I can do A, author, and it gives me that one, the author of book A. Okay? This is very convenient. Why? Well, because the dictionaries are organized in what's called a key and a value, key-value pairs. Okay? The first element is a key and the second element is a value. I can have many keys, say 1,000 keys for something that has many fields. Okay? and then 1,000 values. And then I won't have to remember the position at which these values were. I just know what the key is. The advantage of this data structure is that it's very fast to look up things here. If you have 1,000 elements in a list, for example, to go and search for element number 1,000, okay? So if you're going to loop through things until you find which one is the author, if you're going to check each individual element in the list up to the number 1,000, that is very slow. If you want to check, for example, the title here, this is very fast. It is almost the fastest you can get to access an element in a collection of elements. So an array is a collection of elements, right? A list is a collection of elements. A dictionary is also a collection of elements with the property that to access any of its elements, it's guaranteed to be super fast, okay, very fast. So if you have large collections of things, sometimes it makes sense to put them in dictionaries. And dictionaries have many operations, so we're going to go through some of those, okay? But first, another little thing here. We have book A, B, and C, right? But actually, we can have a list of dictionaries and have all of the dictionaries, all of them in A. So as long as each element here of the list is a dictionary, right? So I can put them like this. And look at this, is very important what's going to happen now. Whoops. Yeah. And close the list there. All right. So what's happening here is that I have a list. A is a list, and list can have a lot of things. It's a list of dictionaries, as opposed to a list of strings or a list of numbers, a list of dictionaries. So the first dictionary is here, comma, the second dictionary, comma, the third dictionary, and then close the list, right? So I can do that. I can put this here, right? And that's my list. And then, of course, I can do the following. I can say for book in A, so for each, I'm going to have a variable book that's going to become this dictionary, then the next one, that's the next one. In A, print book author. So I'm going to print all the authors, right? For each book in this list, okay, because book is a dictionary and I can access it by its key, I'll just print the author of each book. And here's the printout of each of the authors. Okay? This is pretty cool. Now, assuming we had a dictionary, right? Like, I still have B and I still have C, okay? So I'm going to illustrate a few things with B and C. I can also see if B has key, right? Author. So, is there an author field? Is there an author key in C? True. This is going to be very convenient later. And then the other thing that I can do is I can do, the other important thing is that I'm just going to print C. If I do C author, and then I can assign it something. I can assign it, instead of M de Cervantes Saavedra, I'm going to put Miguel de C E S. All right, and then if I print C, now the author part of it change. You see that? So when I add elements, I override it. I can also add more elements. So I can number of pages, for example, and the number of pages is 4,500. Okay, so I can say C, and the key number of pages is 4,500. I don't have the key number of pages, so it's going to add it. And then when I type C, I will see it has the key author, number of pages, and the title as it was before. It doesn't matter which order these things are put here, because when you access them by name. You don't care which order they're placed. The next thing we're going to do with dictionaries, and this will finish this, is, for example, a small program to count the words in text, okay, and using a little dictionary. So say, for example, I have a little text here. Text is, hello there, how are you today? Are you okay there? Are you okay there? Okay, so that's my text. And we're going to apply everything that we've gone so far, okay? So hello there, how are you today? Are you okay there? That is what I'm looking at. All right. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little list with all the words. We know that this is how you create a list with all the words. You just split the text and you make it into a list. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little dictionary, counts, that's going to be an empty dictionary, and then I'm going to do for each word in the set of words in my text, okay, I'm going to see if my dictionary counts has the key, if it has the word in it, if the dictionary contains the word, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that word, okay, add 1 to that, okay, to that count. If it's not there, then count of that word will be 1 because it's the first time we see it. And then I will just print count. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to save this as dictionaries or something. Instead of lists, this is going to be dicts. And I'm going to run it. So I'm going to quit this. And I will get an error here. So if I save it and I try to run it, I will get the first error. It says that text applet and says attribute error, string object has no attribute applet. That means there's a typo and it's actually split. I'll save it, try to run it again, and I'm going to run into another error. Here, for example, it says the file dict.py line 10 module count this count equals 1. It says name error. Name count is not defined. This usually means that your variable has a typo. So I will look and I will say, oh, it's counts is the variable. So this line is wrong. It should be counts, this should be counts, and this should be counts. I'll save it. Now remember what we're trying to do. We have this text and we're trying to count the words by going for each word, first making this text into a list, splitting it on the space. So this is a list of words. And then for each word in that list of words, I'm going to say, hey, does my dictionary have that key? If it does have the key, then I'm going to increase the count by 1. If it doesn't have the key, then I'm going to access that and I'm going to create it and put a 1 in there. And then I'm just going to print the dictionary. Okay, so I'll run that. I'll type python dict.py. And you can see that it counts the words. Okay appears once, there appears twice. So there here and there here, right? You should appear more than once. Yeah, so the word you here appears twice. You can see that it actually counted the words correctly. So we can use dictionaries this way, okay? We have now just counted the words, and then if we want to know, for example, how many you are there, how many instances of the word you can just print counts and then the index u, right? Let's save it, run it, and you see here appears twice. So you can access, you can store things and assign values to them and then just access them very easily.